run the trap like.
Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to Germany, where we get set to kick off yet another new series. This time is the International Formula 4 Championship, and we get set to start it all off here in beautiful Germany next to the Eiffel Forest. This track has long been known for one thing and one thing only, the fearsome Nordschleife. But today, we are taking to the Grand Prix circuit for what should be an absolutely epic new championship. 21 drivers are currently qualifying and getting ready to rumble away for 19 laps in today's season opener here in the Formula IRO4 series. It should be a very interesting night for us then here as we continue to work our way season after season, and once again, happy that you're joining with us here on this beautiful Friday night for what should be one barn burner of a show. The Nurburgring is known as one of those tracks that is definitely a jack-of-all-trades type of place. You got the sweepers, you got the chicanes, you got the hairpins, and everything in between. So you know these guys are going to be in for one exciting race then here tonight. Qualifying is currently getting itself just wrapped up so far. So at the moment we are going to go down track side and we'll start to figure out just how this race is going to pan out here tonight, as checker flag has already been thrown and still waited on those final couple of drivers just to finish working their way over around the racetrack. Among the drivers still yet to put down a qualifying lap here at the end of this one is that of Eric Monaco, who is just coming around through the final couple of corners now in the Monster Energy 9-9, but he's going to be taking his trip down to the pit road and will be giving up on his next qualifying lap. A lot of your qualifying times remain relatively unchanged so far, and a lot of the drivers realizing this are just going to bail out and pull on down to the pit road. I do believe our friend here, Trevor Marks, has already finished up his qualifying run, so we will be getting to a racing action here before too long, as one by one, still waiting on the last couple of drivers to come across the start-finish line. And it does look as though actually Trevor Marks will be among the last cars to come on down into pit road. So as we just now waiting for Marks to take it around, just there, qualifying does get itself all wrapped on up. So as we get set to kick off tonight's proceedings, second rundown of what your starting grid is going to look like here tonight from the Nurburgring circuit. Colin Cropley's on pole position with Hare Owen, just 23,000 of a second back in second place. Axel McRae, is going to be in third. The Canadian Jose Mills coming down in fourth. Ryder Chisholm brings up fifth with Eric Monaco in sixth. Tano Kiyoshi, the Japanese driver, is down in seventh with Will Parrish over in eighth. Alan North is 18th with Casey Wells in 10th. Mitchell O'Brien is 11th with the Frenchman Francis Bouchard, going to be down over in 12th. Putting that down for Trevor Marks at 13th, Spencer Calder in 14th, Stephen Colon is 15th with Nathan Orman at 16th, Matt Jones is 17th, Christian Bracken is 18th, JP Steele is 19th, Ricky Stanton is 20th, and bringing up the rear is going to be Daniel Lawrence to bring up the rear here of this field. 21 cars all gridded up and ready to go, and good thing too, as we are just moments away from getting this race underway. Want to once again thank everybody for taking the time to join us on here on this Friday night, as it's been a long time coming for this one. The USF 2000 Championship is wrapped up. We now wait for the lights as we get set to go racing in the International Formula 4 Championship. Lights out, we blast down in towards turn number one for the first time today. Side by side between Colin Cropley and Owen as they thunder their way through the turn one hairpin. Back up into the Mercedes arena. The 55 still has the inside line over at turn number two. So far, clean start throughout the field, but Owen not giving this one up. Still fighting the outside line, and Owen's going to take the inside away in turn number 4. Owen's up to the point already, taking the race lead away from Poulsen. To call it. Cropland's going to drop down to 3rd as the Canadian Axel McRae moves his way up to 2nd. Owen already pulling out a 9/10 of a second lead. Cropley has managed to retake 2nd place away from McRae. Now trying to run back down the number 63 car as we thunder our way out through the Dunlop hairpin, up through the Schumacher S. Single file now throughout the entirety of this field as we continue to slam on the binders through Michelin Curve, up through Warsteiner towards the Advent Kink in the flat out run down the back straightaway up to the NGK chicane to top off the lap. Cropley goes defensive against McRae, doesn't want to give the number 88 car any room, and it will be, looks like, one Owen to lead the way as he will lead the first lap in the International Formula Ford Championship, while everybody else still in the long single file train right behind him. Couple of drivers looking dicey down towards turn number 1. Eric Monaco going for the dive on the Canadian. Can Monaco overtake him? He's going to have to hang that one the long way around turn 2. Not going to get there. McRae dives it back in. How about the 22 of Jose Mills trying to see if he can't capitalize, but the Game Bridge 22 not able to make any sort of moves. Owen definitely has the biggest gap out of anybody so far, pulling now 1.7 seconds as we run our way through turns 3 and 4, rejoining with the main circuit out of the arena section. This is going to be really, really common in these races, seeing these long draft trains starting to form up. It is so difficult for these cars to get separated on a really big track like this one. We get all sorts of drivers trying to play defense as well. You're going to get these long sorts of lines that are going to be running with each other all throughout the event here tonight. And this is something that I think a lot of people are going to be getting used to seeing as the 55 going to swing it back to the inside of Michelin, trying to stay out in front. Colin Cropley really struggling here again. Axel McRae, who is piling on the pressure. Meanwhile, Owen continues to pull out. Now almost a 2-second lead in about as many laps. Owen has taken this race and he has just run away with it so far. Back up to the NGK chicane, and it's going to be no move made for either driver as we run down through that final chicane once more. Monaco thought about making the look, decided the game, then he's going to back up the last possible second. So did the Prima machine of Francis Boucher, the number 30 car. The Frenchman trying to make up moves. He started all the way back in 12th. He's now up to 11th. He gained that first spot on the opening lap on the inside. The third one hairpin, just like everybody else in this field. And now seeing if he can't do the same and try to power back after these cars. But he is really stuck dead center in the middle of that trap train, which just makes it so difficult to be able to work your way up to the field. You can definitely tell that is something that Boucher is going to be struggling with all throughout the course of the night, as will Casey Wells and Stephen Colon, the drivers that currently surround the number 30. 22 going to suck up to the gearbox here of Eric Monaco as we dive it back down into the chicane. A move being made deeper in the field as drivers start to scramble as people try to make moves, but no positions being swapped around. Colin Cropland now started to build a small gap over Axel McRae, now up to about 0.6 of a second between Cropley and McRae. That is exactly what the Fit 5 wants to see. He's not able to defend it, or he's not having to defend anymore down to the turn number 1, which is just perfect for him. Maybe he'll be able to focus up now and trying to run down his opponent, Owen, out the road. Trevor Marks executing the pass here on Nathan Ormond down into turn number 1. We will wait for this battle to get sorted up, and then we'll take a look to see how that happened. And battle complete. We'll go to the replay here. This was Trevor Marks making a lunge down to the inside of Axel McRae. Fairly easy pass there for Trevor Marks as he just took that one and ran with it. Closest battle up the road is this one here for third place. Axel McRae continued to fend off Eric Monaco from behind, but starting to really struggle as that 99 car is getting antsy, trying to get around the 88 here up the road. Danny Lawrence trying to make a pass on Ricky Stanton just in front of him, but not able to make any kind of lunge down into the NGK chicane as the long train of cars slowly files back onto the pit straight. Monaco continuing to build his gap, now up to about 1.4 seconds over Axel McRae, but Owen still extending his lead as well, which is now up to 3 seconds worth. The 30 of Boucher trying to work the outside line here. Casey Wells not able to. In fact, he's going to be put under 5 by the 17 of Stephen Cologne, who's going to go to the inside of turn 3. I think Cologne might run a bit too wide. In fact, he will. Cologne's going to run wide and almost gets struck by Mitchell O'Brien trying to track out. O'Brien will pick up 12th place as a result. Cologne will fall back into 13th. Races in the International Formula 4 Championship capped at 100 kilometers, or the closest number of laps to that, rounded up or down to the closest hole, giving us a 19-lap race here today at the Nurburgring. A lot of really, really big track names are going to be on the schedule here for the International Formula 4 Championship, including the Silverstone Circuit. Hockenheim is there. Got Circuit of the Americas, Spa-de-Francorchamps, and more. Monza acts as the season finale, as here's a side-by-side battle into the chicane. Monaco's going to take it around the outside. Monaco going the long way around. That switches back to the inside. Can he pick up one from Axel McRae? Looks like he will. Into the final corner. McRae now starting to drop back as Jose Mills going to get up in the fourth. It's going to be a drag race, though, between these two. Down the pit straight towards turn 1. What a lunge, though, for Eric Monaco as he took that one in style around the outside line, and still struggling as Axel McRae falling back of the Red Bull 88. The 22 going to hold firm. Can get a look at this one. Monaco round the outside, cut back to the inside, and taking that pass absolutely textbook into the chicane. That was great stuff. And in fact, that was not the only one, as Alan North got around Will Parrish as well, and that was on the outside line of turn 2 while all this was going on. Right behind them, Ryder Chisholm also got by the 67 car. So a lot of really good battles taking off throughout the field as now drivers are starting to separate. It only takes that one moment with these guys to get themselves fully separated from this field, and that is what we're starting to see here tonight. Mills jukes to the right, trying to outbrake Eric Monaco down into the chicane. Gonna be alongside. He's gonna pull off the move that Monaco did. Jose Mills gonna rock it up into third. And now Axel McRae trying to move back to the inside, to the outside. Goes Alan North, open up the door now for Ryder Chisholm working his way through. Behind them, Nathan Orman and Trevor Marks trading hands a couple of times as we drag race back down in towards turn 1. Some great racing starting to develop up here in the top 10. The 53 to the inside of Tano Kiyoshi, and Kiyoshi can't fight it back. Gonna try it, but can't get the lunge down in the turns 1 and 2. Behind them, Francis Boucher now works around the outside of Casey Wells, trying to get at the upper hand into turn 3. If he can hang on, he'll get him in 4. Get him in 4, he will. Now Wells gonna slip back. Mitchell O'Brien will pick up another spot, moving him up to 11th. Drivers starting to slowly pick their way through this field. As more and more positions start to swap. Alan North is trying to gain the most spots out of anybody so far. He is +3 on the day. I'll tell you what, this is going to be one phenomenal battle among these drivers as we continue to watch these guys cycle their way around. You know it's bound to be a fun race as deeper in the field, Nathan Orman trying to go at it here with Spencer Calder. It looks like Calder will win out on that one. We'll get a quick look on how this battle took place. The 83 lunged at the inside of the 23. That's down into Michelin. Orman simply took that spot right back, said thank you very much. Oh no, that was a completed pass for the 83 car, making that drive around the outside. So right on board the Axel McRae, you can just tell they just don't have enough draft here down the straights here to really be able to do much of anything. Such a struggle to pass when you're in these draft trains because you're just kind of stuck in a bit of a hole. You can't find yourself going anywhere. Behind, JP Steele just got around Danny Lawrence. The 68 car trying to battle back though through turn 2 in Mercedes Arena section, and a big wiggle there. It looked like we'll get another look at that. We're not sure if there was any sort of contact in that one here with Daniel Lawrence. Want to see if we can get a look on board. This will be telling you if there was anything amiss that went wrong here with the 86 car. Oh, he got pinched in. I think there might have been a little bit of contact there between the 68 of Daniel Lawrence and JP Steele in the 86. That's all the way back in the field over about last place at the moment as these drivers still very much in a fierce fight for the mid-pack spots. Looking to fight from 13th up to 11th. Stephen Cologne, Casey Wells, and Mitchell O'Brien, the drivers from back to front. Further towards the front of this train, Jose Mills trying to attack Eric Monaco. We're trying to defend him off, excuse me. And here's the fight, side by side into the NGK chicane. The 83 bullying the 97 out to the right. Trevor Marks gonna fall back. Here comes Nathan Orman trying to lunge up the inside into Coca-Cola curve. And Orman will hang tough on that inside line. There's the 83, Spencer Calder switching back to the inside, and if no positions will swap, we'll get a quick check on how this fight started to develop here, as this was down into the NGK chicane. Outside line is 83, and the 97 kind of gets forced out wide. A couple other passes that just took place. There's this one, Stephen Cologne and Casey Wells trading hands into turns 1 and 2, but Casey Wells hung on for that one. There's also Daniel Lawrence in his defense here of 20th place as JP still tried to get to the inside, but once again just couldn't get that hammer down, and Lawrence took that one back in turn 2. Already talked about some of the bigger name tracks, but they are by no means the only tracks that we're going to. We've got also some more humble names, but still very, very famous ones. How about the Dock Hill Racing Circuit for round number 9? I know the Australians will love to see Sandown on the schedule, as well as the Mount Panorama Circuit. And in addition to the RC service, Rooskogan Motor Center will be having a 31-lap race over in round number 7 for their 31-lap run. For the street circuit lovers, Long Beach Street Circuit is eagerly awaiting its arrival for round number 5. Axel McCrae being forced on defense, but the 53 not far enough up to be able to get a proper overtake attempt to the inside. We are past halfway in our season opener here of the International Formula 4 Championship. So just about everybody in a line, and to kind of prove the point, there's the entire package. You got second and first, 3.5 seconds separate from one another, way up the road. When we have a brief break in the battles up here, want to kind of touch up on these two drivers up in front here. You'll be able to see kind of the lap times that these guys have been working with here. You can see it very much goes back and forth. For the most part, though, it is looking like Owen is still pulling away. He pulled away a total of about 3 to 4 tenths or so the last 3 laps, but Colin Cropper did a good job to stick with him, but I think this track is just all in the hands of Owen here on this one. And in fact, we'll kind of double down on this one and take a look at the sector times. And even here you can see exactly where Owen is gaining all that speed on your former pole sitter. Behind, though, you still got all these midfield battles raging on. It is important to know that we only score points back to 10th place. And to the outside, it's going to go Casey Wells, trying to force Mitchell O'Brien out to the right. O'Brien hanging firm, though, as we enter Coca-Cola curve. And they will still be side by side down the pit straight, and the run down to turn number 1. Casey Wells pulls clear, and in fact, I think Mitchell O'Brien backed off a bit too much. He's lost spots to Stephen Cologne, and now to Spencer Calder. About to lose another one here to Trevor Marks down to the turn 1. And will Nathan Orman go through as well? He will not, but a disastrous exit of that final corner for Mitchell O'Brien. All this, the current ongoing fight for 11th place, and up the road you've got Ryder Chisholm, Will Parrish, and Francis Boucher fighting it out for the last points paying position for 8th, 9th, and 10th. They can see Tano Kiyoshi headed up the next train up the road. lot of drivers, though, at this point have started to settle more into the rhythm of things as nobody's really making any sort of the moves we saw early on. As I say that, Boucher trying to make an attack on Will Parrish down there. I believe that was Warsteiner, but wasn't able to make anything happen. Will we see any moves here up into the final chicane? Looks like we will. Kiyoshi looking for the inside, not going to happen. But there will be a move back here. Will Parrish to the outside of Ryder Chisholm, and he's going to go through. And in the back here as well, Casey Wells, Stephen Cologne now side by side through Coca-Cola. Tracking out to the left-hand side. The 67 car still holding even with the 17. Casey Wells on the inside. Stephen Cologne on the outside. Side by side into turn number 1. Who's going to take it? Give it to Cologne. Taking that one away from the outside of turn number 1 on a good defense. Axel McRae, meanwhile, still trying to hang on to whatever spots he can. He started up in 5th place, but since then the Canadian has dropped back significantly. He's down to 5th now, trying to fend off Alan North and Tano Kiyoshi right behind him in the three-way fight for this 5th position, the final spot inside the top 5. Kiyoshi continuing to close the gap right in behind. Well, we see him move this time by up into that final chicane. Alan North looking for the inside or looking for the outside there of McRae, but not enough to make a move. And also we know a move we made deeper in this larger pack. Although you can see a couple of drivers definitely were considering it. Here's the look though: Christian Bracken fighting Matt Jones. That's all the way back for 17th place at the moment, but it is a side-by-side battle nonetheless as we work our way through the final corner, and Bracken's going to force his way there up into 17th. Jose Mills has steadily been caught by Eric Monaco over the last little while, and now the fight for 3rd looks like it's about to pick up as well. If that 99 car can get back up there to the 22, and we will compare the times, and you can see Eric Monaco has been kind of fluctuating back and forth. Actually lost a couple of attempts on laps 10 and 11. They only started to crawl that back just this last lap as well, so it looks like Monaco actually might be struggling a little bit more than I thought in his bid to try to go for a podium finish here at the Nurburgring. Alan North, meanwhile, trying to make the run on Axel McRae. Kiyoshi right behind. Look out, Will Parrish, who has now joined the party. Kiyoshi's got to get a move on, or it'll be Alan North to the outside of Axel McRae. Wrap that one up for 5th place, as well as that Francis Boucher just got by Ryder Chisholm, but it is not secured. Now it is secured through Coca-Cola curve. Meanwhile, Cologne also trying to fight it out with Casey Wells at the moment. A lot of movement made up into that NGK chicane. It seems to be definitely a prime pass opportunity for a lot of drivers in this field. Kiyoshi battling Casey Wells down to the turn number 1. The Japanese driver under fire by Wells. Kiyoshi trying to battle this one back. These are for points payment positions here, these two. And Kiyoshi's going to yield to Will Parrish. Still got these drivers fighting it out, though, through the Mercedes arena, and Bell's going to lose 2 spots and a bad miscalculation there. And we will look back to this fight. This game, this time all the way back in the NGK chicane, and raged on all the way down into the Mercedes arena, and all the way through there up until turn number 4. It seemed that 17 really did a good job to work that outside lane and try to stay vigilant around the outside of the number 67 car. And good he did, because he actually made it up with Casey Wells. Caused Wells to lose 2. Meanwhile, Alan North is now up into 5th place with Axel McRae down in 6th. Will Parrish just forced his way by Tano Kiyoshi into the final chicane that last time by, or into turn 1, excuse me, that last time by. Will Parrish start to do the same here to McRae. McRae looked left, got covered off, looks back to the right, trying to get a lunge on Alan North, going to commit to the outside pass. Alan North still holding tough in the number 53 car, trying to hang on here against Axel McRae. McRae still on the inside through Coca-Cola. Really bad exit, though. Give it to Alan North down the pit straight. And in fact, here comes Will Parrish attacking from the outside line of the number 68. Kiyoshi looks like he wants to try to follow suit through here as 88 continues to drop back. Axel McRae having an abysmal race so far as he's fallen from 3rd all the way back now to 7th, about to be 8th as Kiyoshi tries to attack. He's going to swing too wide through turn 4. We'll have to reset, try again another time, but definitely got there. I think McRae is really feeling the pressure. Laps to go this time by. Time started to run out for Will Parrish. He wants to pick up any more spots here. Little peek to the inside, but opts not to commit to anything here. He's being careful, being cautious. Seems when the backwards spins a call, they're having a little peek, but not committing to any sort of move. Again, Parrish looks over to the left, but now North going to feign back. Defensive line. Parrish can't make the move. Got to move back here, though. Mitchell O'Brien to the inside of Trevor Marks, but Marks will hang tough in the NGK chicane. Opens up the door for Nathan Orman to try to attack O'Brien here down to the final corner, but no speed, no space. Fight for 3rd is on. As Eric Monaco was caught, Jose Mills once more and is now trying to get around the 22 for 3rd. All the while, you're going to have these mid-pack battles continue to develop all the way up until the conclusion of this 19-lap race here. All this battle is allowing more and more drivers to close into the fray with Alan North. Most notably, Francis Boucher starting to reel his way in from just behind this big pack here. You can see him in the number 35 way in the background, or the number 30, excuse me. No, that's actually Ryder Chisholm. Boucher's already with the pack, and McRae wants to go offensive as he tried to make the look on Parrish. There's the look. Well, Parrish to the outside of Alan North into the chicane, cuts it back to the inside. Parrish is going to be up to 5th. And in the background, Stephen Colon under fire. Casey Wells going to get up and by the 17. I made that. That is the 17. That is now the 67. Casey Wells hugs the inside. Colon's going to back out. Trevor Marks is getting after Will O'Brien. Try to also go on an attack into turn 1. You bet he will. Brian's going to pull alongside with that 17 car. Nathan Norman waiting the wings, see if he can pick off any of these drivers. O'Brien's still there, still trying to fight it out. Don't think he's going to be able to do so here. He still has that nose just barely into the front wing. Can he force go wide? No, he can't. Cologne's going to cut it back in and chop the nose. Every lap, these drivers know they are losing more and more time. They cannot afford to keep battling like this. Sooner or later, something's got to give. Once more, Will Parrish now goes on defense. He's been in the offense so much today, but neither of these drivers wanted to make any moves up into the NGK chicane. Matt Jones, meanwhile, has no qualms as he's trying to fend off Ricky Stanton. Sorry, trying to get around Christian Bracken, actually, for most of it. It's been a long day. I'm getting my names confused here a little bit as we continue to see the midfield continue to scrap it out. 2 laps left to go. Tanakiyoshi trying to mount an defense on the outside of turn 2. That's not going to happen, though. Not unless you're already alongside. By the time you get down into turn 1, it was an effort, though, and he's definitely trying to make the most of whatever chances he's got left. North and Parrish. Still a vet to see who's going to get that final top 5 spot. And don't forget this fight as well here for 3rd place between Jose Mills and there in Monaco. It's unlikely at this point that it's going to change hands at all, but they have certainly been trying their best to put on a show for us here tonight. And put on a show these guys absolutely have. It's been a great, clean race so far to kick off the International Formula 4 Championship. Oh, Alan North under fire. Axel McRae looking to the inside of Michelin. That's brave. That's going to happen for McRae, but will maybe Tanakiyoshi be able to make something work? No, it won't. Oh, that's going to stack him up behind. Francis Boucher going to lose out to Ryder Chisholm in the kink. Meanwhile, race leader Owen's going to take that final lap. Outside for Chisholm, looking to get around Kiyoshi here into the chicane and get around him. He will. Maybe. Still has to secure here in the Coca-Cola curve. He still hasn't gotten it, though. Kiyoshi fighting this one back around that outside line. And now Francis Boucher in the mix, and now Kiyoshi's going to back out. Stephen Colon and Trevor Marks scrapping it out for 13th. And Colon's not going to be able to make anything happen. Trevor Marks is going to secure that spot into turn number 1 as there's an attack from Colon on Marks, and Trevor Marks fought back in turn 2 and was able to secure the spot. Continuing to scrap it out amongst themselves here as we round the Nurburgring for the final time. This is an opener of the International Formula 4 Championship. Jose Mills still trying to keep Eric Monaco at bay for that final precious podium position. Up front, though, Owen is through the kink for the final time. He has dominated this race, took the race lead away from Colin Cropley early, and has just ran away with it since then. He will round Coca-Cola curve for the last time. Give it up for Owen, who will take home the checkered flag in race number 1. Still got drivers trying to battle amongst themselves. We're watching this chicane. We know if there's going to be movement, it'll be in here. There it is for O'Brien. Making it now for the 17 of Stephen Colon, trying to fight the outside of Trevor Marks into the Coca-Cola curve. These are not for points, but they're still fighting out as if they are out of the final corner. I think maybe just Trevor Marks hangs on by the slimmest of margins. Car after car will round the checkered flag, but what a race that we have seen here tonight. And as that is now all well and truly sorted, we will start to work our way through your post-race results here from your season opener. It'll be Owen to take the race win with Colin Cropley down in second. Jose Mills brings it up in third to wrap out the podium, hanging on against Eric Monaco. Will Parrish will be down in fifth place. Alan North is in sixth. Axel McRae will be in seventh with Ryder Chisholm in eighth. Rounded out the points pay positions will be Francis Boucher and Tano Kiyoshi. With a hard-fought battle, Spencer Calder will bring on the next train with Casey Wells down in 12th place. Trevor Marks just barely hung on against Stephen Colon in a close fight. That was severed by just 12 thousandths of a second between those two at the line. Mitchell O'Brien will be in 15th place. David Norman, how about him bringing it up in 16th, about 30 seconds back. That's 7 seconds back, but there will be Christian Bracken fighting it out with Matt Jones. We continue to track our way through, and rounding up the field will be Ricky Stanton in 19th place. JP Steele is down in 20th with Daniel Lawrence over in 21st place. What a race, though, we had here tonight from the season opener of the International Formula 4 Championship, and it is not over by any stretch of the means. You've still got yourself a lot of racing action left to go here in the International Formula 4 Championship. Next time we go racing, it will be over at the Sandown International Motor Raceway. 32 laps, but it's going to be one of the fastest tracks we go to on the season, known as the home of horsepower. That's going to be all the time we got for one night, though, here from the Nurburgring. Want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us here on what has been an absolutely beautiful Friday night. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night over for the Saturday Night Dirt Clash, kicking off this season opener. We'll see you all there. Enjoy your Friday night.